This is the brand new Apple Watch Ultra 2 in satin black, the new color offered by Apple. And a couple of days ago, I unboxed this watch on camera and published it here on YouTube. And a lot of you in the comments of that video had a very similar question. Just how durable is the Apple Watch Ultra 2 in satin black? Is it scratch resistant? That's what we're gonna try to find out today. So if you're unaware, the Apple Watch Ultra 2 now comes in a new color that Apple is calling satin black. And during the presentation when they launched this watch, they basically said that the process they use to adhere the coating to the surface of the case of the watch is super durable. In fact, they said it was either equally as durable or even more durable than the original Apple Watch Ultra 2 here, which has a natural titanium finish. And during that presentation, it had me scratching my head because one would argue a lighter watch will always show less scratches than a darker watch, simply because if you scratch the raw titanium here, maybe you'll see a fine line or a faint scratch, but it's not going to be a super noticeable scratch like you'd get on a black watch here. So today we're going to do some testing and figure out what this new coating process and color is all about. Before we move on, a couple of things. First of all, this Apple Watch Ultra 2 I have here is actually a loaner from Apple, so I will not be damaging this watch. In fact, I just went to the Apple store and bought a brand new Apple Watch Ultra 2 in satin black for the purpose of this video. So hopefully this video gets some views, to make that financial sting hurt a bit less. Let's just get this thing out of the box now and get it out of the way. Another thing I wanted to mention before we move on is that I will not be destroying any of these watches today. That is not the purpose of this video. I'm not going to be smashing them with hammers or dropping them off a skyscraper or out of an airplane or anything like that, because those videos are really sensationalized and they're not real life. Like, who is smashing their watch with a hammer? So I won't be going all jerry-rig everything on the Apple Watch Ultra 2 here, but I will be putting it through a series of real life tests that could happen to us on any given day. In fact, it happens to me all the time where I drop my watch by accident or I put my watch in my pocket with a bunch of car keys or something like that. And finally, to keep things fair in this video, I'll be doing the same test to 3 different watches. Of course, I've got the black Apple Watch Ultra 2 here, but I've also got the raw titanium Apple Watch Ultra 2 here. And finally, I've got a Garmin Fenix 7X. And the reason why I chose this watch is because this is a sapphire watch and it does have a very similar DLC coating on the bezel and on the back plate of the watch. All right, so the first test I want to do today is going to be a simple drop test. And this is very real world. This is something I've done before where you're taking your watch off your wrist maybe, or you're putting your watch on and you fumble and it drops face down on the ground. And currently we're standing on pavers in my backyard here, which are made out of stone, obviously. So it's not a great thing to drop things on. First watch I'll be dropping for this test is the Apple Watch Ultra 2 in satin black here. And again, this is a brand new watch, so there are no marks or blemishes on this thing. 3, 2, 1. Oh. I know it's not going to be damaged, but the sound is pretty jarring. Okay, next up is going to be the Apple Watch Ultra in the raw titanium finish. 3, 2, 1. And finally is going to be the Garmin Fenix 7X here. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I wanted to do one more drop test before we sort of ended the drop test situation. And this time around, I'm gonna be dropping it on some gravel behind my shed here. I thought this would be a good surface to drop on because oftentimes if you're hiking or trail running or something like that, and maybe you trip and fall, this could be something that you land on. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, first up is going to be the black Apple Watch Ultra 2 here in 3, 2, 1 from waist level. Next up, we've got the raw titanium Apple Watch Ultra 2 here, 3, 2, 1. And finally, the Garmin Fenix 7X. Next up for this real life durability test is something that I'm guilty of all the time. I do this like multiple times a week, and that is taking my car keys, putting them in my pocket, and then putting my watch also in my pocket. That is something you really want to avoid. I've removed the bands just so there's no extra material protecting them. I'm gonna put this in my watch here, and I guess I'm just gonna do some jumping jacks to see what happens. Do some marches to see what happens there. Is this good content? Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing with the raw titanium Apple Watch Ultra 2 here. Again, I'm gonna try to put it in the same position against the keys. Jumping jacks, do some marches. And finally, it's time for Garmin's turn to go in the pocket. Same position, same keys. All right, we're back in the studio now, and I just want to take a closer look at these watches with my high resolution cameras to see if we can pick up on any additional damage that might have happened during those easy real-life tests. So first up, let's take a look at the Garmin Fenix 7X here. Again, this is a sapphire model with a DLC coating, and it looks pretty much fine. There is one tiny little blemish on the sapphire lens. I'll try to hit it in the light there. Right there, if you can see, right above the training readiness words there's a tiny little dot. There's some wear and tear in the top right corner here, and a couple of areas of abrasion, but overall, looks pretty good. Moving along to the silver Apple Watch Ultra 2 here. This is the raw titanium version. This watch is about a year old, so it had some little scratches before I was doing these tests, but nothing of note that would stand out. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. There are some minor blemishes here, like right by my fingernail here and right down here, there's a tiny little scratch. But overall, I'd say if this was your watch, you wouldn't really complain about any of those scratches. In flipping the watch over, you can see the crystal on the back there is also fine. There's no scratches, no damage at all either. And finally, let's move to the black Apple Watch Ultra 2 here. And again, from a high level, looking from a distance, I don't really see any damage at all. But if you do look closely, you can see that in one particular corner right about there, there is a tiny little bit of brassing. The interesting thing about this black color though is the more I rub it, like with my finger, the more it goes away. It's almost like you could rub the scratches away, which is kind of interesting. Maybe that means the finish is thicker and there's like another layer of it underneath. So when you rub it away, it's kind of rubbing away the particles, revealing that lower surface texture. I'm not really sure, but at the end of the day, what I can say is it appears that this black finish on the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is quite durable. And I think for most people in everyday activities like going to work and hiking and trail running and things like that, you're not gonna have to worry about this finish scratching, especially if you're doing normal things like putting it in your pocket with keys or accidental drops here and there. It's a really durable finish, and I expected that from Apple, but I did wanna see how it would react in some of these basic real-life tests. Generally speaking, I'm pretty impressed with the durability of the finishes on all of these watches, not just the black Ultra 2 here, but even the original Ultra, because like I said, this watch is about a year old and I've used it a lot. I've ran a couple of ultra marathons with it, and it still looks pretty much new. But these are just my results, and I'm only one person, and that's the point of the video where I want to hear from you. Do you have an Apple Watch Ultra 2 in black or even a silver one? Let me know in the comments down below what your experience has been with scratches on the lens, on the finish. Have you beat one up? Has it been noticeable? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. And after you're done commenting down there, make sure to drop into this video's description down below where you will find links for the Apple Watch Ultra 2 in black and raw titanium, and even some Garmin watches if you are interested in picking one up. Those links do help support this channel, but they cost nothing extra to you. And after you're done shopping down there, make sure to check out the links to my other social media accounts like my Strava, my Threads, my Instagram, and my website where you can pick up your very own Chase the Summit hat just like that. It even says Chase the Summit on the back, and underneath, it's a pretty sweet hat. And with that, we have reached the end of this video, and if you found this video helpful or educational or fun or anything, please consider going down and giving me a thumbs up and subscribing down below so you don't miss more videos from me in the future, okay? I'll see you next time. Bye!